If you're a data analyst that keeps learning more SQL, more Python, or just more tools, but you're not getting promoted, this video may be a little uncomfortable for you, because the truth is that the technical skills never stopping you from getting promoted. So I've worked with lots of data analysts, and I've seen insanely smart people stuck in the same level, same position for years. And every single time it wasn't because they weren't technical enough. It's because they were a great analyst at that level. And there is a such thing as being a good, or what I call a forever junior analyst. So if you're new, my name is Zazo. I'm currently working in data analytics. I'm a senior data analyst, and I've been working in data analytics for 4 years. So I've worked with a lot of data analysts, and it's almost always the same reason why analysts don't get promoted. And it's because most analysts are actually taught a very simple career formula, and that's learn SQL, learn Python, learn Tableau or Power BI, and just get promoted. But this is a very common misconception. Those things are what gets you hired, not necessarily what gets you promoted. This formula breaks down once you're already in the door, and the criteria and formula changes dramatically, because everybody in most companies are technically good enough to do the technical stuff. Because when promotion conversations happen, no one's asking how fast can you write a window function in SQL. So here's something that most analysts really don't realize. A promotion's actually not a reward. It's a risk decision on your manager's behalf and on their part. So a lot of people think that they just do all this work, gain all these skills, and your manager's like, yes, you deserve this promotion. And that's normally not the way that it works. Every promotion is a risk to your manager, so they have to be damn sure that you can do whatever that next role is. That's why you'll see a lot of the time, if you're looking for that next promotion, you'll kind of already be doing the job before you even get the promotion. And that's because that's just a way of the manager making sure that you can do the job before you're even in it. So a lot of times what managers are actually thinking is, if I promote this person, will things break? Can I trust them with ambiguity or unclear requirements? Will stakeholders be happy? Do they trust this person? Or will I just have to babysit them all the time and basically micromanage all of their work, just so we don't lose trust with business partners? And once you pass this technical bar, more technical skills do not matter. And they definitely don't answer those questions that are going in your manager's mind. Now I'm gonna go into what things will actually start getting you promoted, or things you can build to get that promotion. The first skill is you're gonna need to know your business thinking. There are a lot of analysts that can get in the door without very little, or get in the door with very little business knowledge. And that's just not the way. So I always recommend a business first approach. And that's kind of how I teach. If you want a roadmap on this business first approach, kind of like Data Analyst Roadmap, I'll have a link in the description. Go ahead and click it. It's free. Just put in your email and I'll send it to you. So most analysts are really good at answering questions, but promoted analysts are the ones that are answering the right questions. You can answer a question that has no impact or business value, but the analyst that gets promoted is always asking questions that are going to impact or move the business forward. They ask, why are they even doing a SQL query? Like, what does this add to the business? Why is this being looked at? They're always going to connect their metrics to cost, revenue, risk, savings, or strategy. Anyone can say things like revenue dropped 3%, but the promoted analyst is going to say something like, this costs us $2 million a quarter, and here's what's driving it. In that frame, you're clearly showing the value monetarily, the business value of what is going on, where the other one's kind of just answering a question. So this next thing is communication, and I'll say it all the time. A lot of analysts can communicate really well with other analysts, but when it comes to speaking to executives, or speaking to just business partners that are not technical, they tend to freeze up and not know how to really explain their thoughts clear and concise and in a non-technical way. If you want a video about communication, let me know in the comments, because I see this as a big problem across the board in being able to communicate with non-technical people, especially in data roles. So this is the way I like to think of it. If you can't explain what you did, why it matters in 30 seconds to an executive or non-business person, it doesn't matter how good it is. Promoted analysts always summarize first, then they give the details after. You never start with the details because technically, or most of the time, you are going to lose that person. You always want to frame your conversation in essentially telling them what happened and why it matters first, and then you filter into the details that complement that bigger idea or summary. And if leadership can't repeat what you said after you explained it, then did you really explain anything at all? This one is huge, and stuck analysts tend to always struggle with this. They wait for requests, they wait for tickets, they just wait and wait and wait. That's what they do. They wait to be told what to do. But the analysts that get promoted, those are the ones that proactively seek problems, identify them, solve them end to end. And not only do they solve them, they also own that. They own the process. They own that, whatever it is, that business problem, they own it. That process, they own it. Ownership and proactivity. Don't just wait around for something to happen. The fastest way to get promoted is literally when your manager can say, I don't even worry about this area anymore. This one is huge and something that I really didn't care about coming into data analytics, but it is so important. Stakeholder trust. Now, people don't like hearing this, but promotions are relational. Matter of fact, in my company, if you don't have relationships with business partners, your chances of getting promoted are very close to zero. And I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about sitting here and just having the, the little, hey, how you doing today? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about trust, building trust with those business partners. And you can be a very nice person and a very interpersonal person, but just speaking to somebody doesn't necessarily build trust in your work and what you actually do. It can build trust in you as a person, but not necessarily in the work that you do. So there's a very fine line when it comes to this specifically. So the things you want to kind of ask yourself to level set and see if this is something you struggle with is, do your stakeholders trust you? And do they enjoy working with you even under pressure? Can they trust you when times are tough? When there are fires going on, can they trust you? And if a stakeholder asks for you by name or mentions your name a lot or work with you to do certain analysis or certain, processes, this is a good thing. So the next thing is decision-making confidence. This is huge. I see a bunch of data analysts try to hide behind data, and it's almost an insecurity that they don't want to make a decision because they don't have any confidence in their decision because it's actually a lack of skill. So what they do is kind of just restate the data in a bunch of different ways without ever making a decision or recommendation about what is being seen. And for some skilled people out there, they can see that as a clear insecurity. So the analysts that get promoted almost always are able to not only provide data, tell the story, but also are able to provide recommendations. So a regular analyst is going to say something like, here's the numbers, here's what happened, where a promoted analyst is going to say something like, this is what happened, and here's what I suggest we do, or here's what I would do. Leadership definitely doesn't need more charts. I'm pretty sure there's dashboards, reports, and everything that's out there. They need people that can make decisions and make their jobs easier, and people that they can trust in order to make their jobs easier. Because if you have a bad track record and you tell an executive, hey, I recommend you make this decision, they're always going to go behind your back and try to validate that because they don't trust you in your judgment. So all of these things cohesively are what get you promoted. So you really got to just take a stance, even if it's not perfect. You can always get better along the way, but you have to take a stance. You can't be playing the fence as a data analyst, especially if you want to get promoted. So I'm going to give you a little breakdown on how to fix this in 3 months or 90 days. And these are some things you can do to fix this if this video is speaking directly to your soul, okay? So the first month is you're just going to ask on your analysis what decision is this for? So you want to get used to actually connecting your analysis to a real business problem for basically every analysis that you have. Another thing you're going to want to do in month 1 is you're going to want to practice giving a 3-bullet executive summary. So the most important, whatever you found from the analysis. That's in month 1. Just focus on those 2 things. Month 2, volunteer to own a recurring business problem, process, something of that nature. Own it, ownership. The next thing is run a stakeholder meeting yourself. So lead that meeting and really take ownership of that meeting, build up that confidence, build up that trust with those stakeholders. And month 3, or the final boss, start presenting recommendations, not just findings. And then honestly, just ask your manager, what would make me promotion ready? You gotta have those talks. They might be a little uncomfortable. Maybe you don't wanna ask, maybe you don't wanna ruffle any feathers, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to suffer if you don't, and you're just gonna be suffering in silence. So speak with your manager, have a one-on-one, and ask them, what do I need to do to get promoted? So if you want to get promoted as a data analyst, stop trying to be the smartest in the room by just stacking skills, by just stacking tools, and actually start trying to be the most useful instead of the most smartest by using tools as a cover up for your lack of communication skills, business decision-making skills, and all of these other different skills. Technical skills get you hired. The non-technical skills are what gets you promoted. So if this helped you in any type of way, subscribe to the channel, like the video, love, peace, and chicken grace.